Fox 32 has information indicating the FBI has launched an investigation into controversial Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Dane Placco has been following allegations of her misspending.
Breaking this morning, 3 lawsuits just announced against controversial suburban Mayor Tiffany Henyard. The plaintiffs, they are all former employees of Thornton Township and the village.
Top aide to Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has been indicted for bankruptcy fraud. It comes amid ongoing questions about Henyard's spending and leadership.
And legal expert Henyard actually has 2 political jobs on 2 public payrolls. As mayor of South Suburban Dalton, or as she calls herself, Super Mayor, and supervisor of Thornton Township, where she makes over 200.
Henyard being under investigation is nothing new, and many people have come forward to share how her corruption has personally impacted them. Among her critics are Dalton's Board of Trustees, who have never hidden their disdain for the mayor. Now, it appears Tiffany has had enough of their opposition and is pushing back. After all, it was the village's trustees who first brought legal scrutiny to Tiffany's questionable handling of village finances. Former allies of the mayor have left no stone unturned in exposing the truth. Carmen Carroll even labeled her a manipulator who exploited the hard-working people of Dalton without a hint of remorse.
WGN investigates as learned South Suburban politician Tiffany Henyard has lost another key ally. Until recently, Henyard enjoyed near unanimous support on the Thornton Township Board, but now trustee Carmen Carlisle says after trusting Henyard and remaining silent, she will be a whistleblower against Henyard. Carlisle released a statement to WGN that reads in part, "For the past 2 years, Henyard has manipulated employees, vendors, and residents using her position to increase her influence, all while projecting a false image of success funded by the hardworking taxpayers of Thornton Township and the village of Dalton." Henyard shows no accountability or conscience for her actions against employees or taxpayers. Henyard has denied wrongdoing and claims her opponents are out for what she calls clickbait. Tomorrow at 9, tune in for exclusive new reporting on Henyard's spending that she tried to keep secret.
The controversy has been gaining momentum for some time, but tensions have escalated significantly in recent days. While the strained relationship between the mayor and the trustees has been no secret, both sides had previously avoided making their power struggle so publicly obvious, until now, despite the trustees postponing the meeting. Tiffany proceeded with it on the original date. As if that weren't controversial enough, she also appointed a new administrator, an action that not only appears legally questionable without the board's presence, but also intensifies the conflict, especially since Dalton already has a functioning administrator.
Dalton appointed new village staff members tonight.
She did it at a meeting that she says trustees who oppose her tried to cancel. WGN's Jenna Barnes has more.
Well, one of those appointees is a new village administrator, even though there's already an administrator, a former Henyard ally, Keith Freeman, currently doing the job. This all happening at a meeting the Board of Trustees postponed until next week, a move that Henyard's lawyer says is illegal, so she went ahead without them.
Tiffany's lawyer may have successfully presented a strong argument against the postponement.
The Open Meetings Act says, you know what you've got to do to cancel one of these meetings? You've got to give 10 days of notice. 10 days of notice to the public. Certainly notice to the mayor. You know what they did? They didn't give you any notice.
However, its credibility is undermined not only by the nature of the appointment, but also by Tiffany's choice of who to place in a position of power alongside her.
More drama in Dalton tonight as Mayor Tiffany Henyard's latest hire is now under fire.
Fox 32 has learned that Dalton's new village administrator has had multiple brushes with the law and was fired from a high school for allegedly sexually harassing a 15-year-old girl.
Dane Placco has the latest chapter in this ongoing Dalton investigation.
My next appointment will be for village administrator.
Tuesday night, Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard appointed a new top aide to a $100,000 a year job. 34-year-old Michael A. Smith, who's been active in South Suburban politics for years.
The reason for Mike is he have a wealth of great information. He's a young person and ex-politician. He knows the laws like the back of his hand.
His past is highly controversial, and many believe he belongs in jail alongside Tiffany rather than in such a significant position. However, this isn't the first time she has appointed someone with a criminal record. Police Chief Louis Lacey, who was fired over charges of bankruptcy fraud and perjury, was later reappointed to the role by Tiffany.
Perhaps that's because Smith has been in and out of trouble with the law for years.
I'd like to thank the residents as well as the mayor.
Public reporting shows Smith has been charged at least 8 times with crimes ranging from domestic battery to official misconduct. In 2012, Smith, then a young trustee in Dixmoor, resigned after pleading guilty to theft when he allegedly stole gasoline by posing as a police officer. Then in 2018, Smith was working as an assistant dean at Thornton Fractional High School when he was fired for sexual harassment of a female student, grooming a student with lascivious intent, and inappropriate aggressive behavior towards a male student. According to his termination letter, Smith was accused of contacting a 15-year-old female student on Snapchat with inappropriate comments and making her his girlfriend. Then earlier this year, Smith was fired from the Echo School District for falsifying information on your employment application.
We have a constant pattern of her hiring people without doing a proper background check.
After stirring up the hornet's nest, the mayor went on to criticize the trustees, blaming them for the current unrest in Dalton. To put it mildly, she used bold and pointed statements to drive her message home.
Tonight's meeting, if you can call it that, was much less attended. We counted fewer than 20 people who showed up.
Just pay attention to who bring all the drama to your community. Where all the hecklers that's normally in the crowd, they're not here today. Where everybody that got something to say when everybody up here talking to you in their opinion. That's how you know everybody are plants in the audience.
And just last week in Thornton Township, Supervisor Tiffany Henyard couldn't hold a meeting because the trustees there didn't show up amid ongoing power struggles in both of the governments that Henyard runs. In Dalton, Jenna Barnes.
This, of course, isn't the only controversial meeting in Dalton. The Attorney General's office, led by Kwame Raoul, found that Dalton violated the Open Meetings Act during its June and July sessions. Residents reported issues such as limited seating, blocked entrances, and a hostile atmosphere. The only evidence provided was a critical letter sent to Henyard's mother's house, but it contained no threats and was delivered after the meetings had already taken place.
Just today, Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office found Dalton violated the Open Meetings Act at its June and July meetings after complaints from residents that Henyard's administration limited seating, blocked the entrances to Village Hall with barriers, and created a hostile environment. The acting police chief at the time cited threats to Henyard's safety, including a letter mailed to Henyard's mom's house that was written in blue marker. It stated, "See you in prison. Your mother raised a loser. Your mother is a loser." The AG's office finding that the letter mailed from Rhode Island was the only evidence that the board provided in support of the manner in which it conducted the meetings in question. The letter was critical and insulting, but it did not implicitly or explicitly threaten violence. More importantly, the letter did not arrive until after the 2 meetings.
Many people were unable to enter the Dalton municipal meeting, leaving a crowd of frustrated residents outside. Mayor Tiffany Henyard's meetings have increasingly turned into spectacles, with residents arriving early to voice concerns about unpaid bills and payroll issues. Public meetings are meant to be accessible to everyone who wishes to speak about the mayor and the overall state of the village, but the current situation is far from how these gatherings are supposed to function.
Cheryl, only a fraction of the people who actually showed up to this meeting were able to get inside due to what the police chief said was some unspecified security threat, but the people who were left out here in the parking lot refused to go unheard. Ask Dalton residents, and many will say the bi-monthly municipal meetings run by Mayor Tiffany Henyard have become a regularly scheduled spectacle. The increasingly irate residents arrived plenty early for the first of the month meeting. Village residents clamored against the double doors tussling and then navigating a security screening for a highly coveted seat at a public meeting where items like unpaid bills and payroll were supposed to be the topics of discussion. Mayor Tiffany Henyard took her seat on the dais to preside over the board meeting.
Citizens were warned that any disruptions could result in the meeting being shut down. Those who managed to get inside, after enduring unnecessary screening and security, were able to voice their concerns. However, despite speaking out, they have yet to see any real action taken against the corrupt mayor.
If there are any outbursts, if there are any clapping, or anything that is get another credible threat, the meeting will be closed. People are frustrated. They want answers. They want transparency. This has to end. I'm so disappointed in what's been happening in Dalton. Mayor, you need to step down because you have disgraced this village. You really have.
Henyard sat stoically, taking in the ire of some of her constituents and the praise of a few.
It is under Mayor Henyard's tenure that I have felt the most connected and valued. We need to come together and support her.
But before any actual village business could be discussed, the quorum of village leaders dissolved over disagreements in how the meeting was being run.
The Open Meetings Act requires that we have enough space for everybody to get in.
Leaving Mayor Tiffany Henyard to assail her colleagues.
Our job is to make sure we take care of the business and not allow the business to handle us.
She has been at odds with 4 trustees who accuse her of mismanagement. The meeting ultimately fell apart without any progress, as the trustees walked out in protest. In response, they have scheduled a special meeting for next Monday.
Henyard and 4 of Dalton's trustees who've asked for a federal investigation into her handling of village affairs have been at odds for months. The trustees say Henyard has left vendors unpaid, withheld business permits, and stonewalled village leaders and voters for her own personal profit.
Someone pointed out that Tiffany had manipulated the trustees into passing laws, specifically mentioning a law that raised fines for unmowed lawns from $75 to $500. This highlights why the board took action against the mayor. It's likely that similar incidents have occurred multiple times, and sooner or later, anyone would grow tired of this blatant disregard for the citizens.
But with Tiffany Henyard, they raised those fines from $75 to $500 if you did not mow your lawn, and they were trying to bring in revenue for the village. But I went back in time and I looked at the actual board meeting where they voted. She tricked the trustees into voting yes for it without having anything in front of them. She had the lawyer get involved and acted and convinced the trustees. The trustees asked, and she pointed out quite just blankly said, it is just for the vacant homes. This has nothing, and she said, word for word, this has nothing to do with the current residents, the people that live in Dalton. Has nothing to do with the people that live at 602 West 7th Street, okay, that occupy their home. This is for the vacant homes only. She convinced the trustees. They were hesitant, but this was back before all the major controversy, and so they decided to pass it because she said it would bring in revenue and that it was only for these vacant homes.
One of the major accusations against Tiffany is her mismanagement of Dalton's finances. Reports claim she has been using thousands of taxpayer dollars for personal expenses, including luxury trips, buying cars for herself, her mother, and even her boyfriend, and, strangely enough, building an unapproved and unwanted ice rink. She even boasted about the rink on social media, which wasn't the wisest move considering her growing legal troubles. Despite all that's transpired, the mayor has shown no signs of exercising caution. Old habits die hard, especially when someone, like Henyard, seems uninterested in putting an end to them. Even with all the public and legal scrutiny, she continues to misuse the village's funds.
At 4:30, more money troubles in South suburban Dalton. New welcome banners recently went up in that village.
But the company that created them says it has not been.
This is yet another decision Tiffany made without the consent of the Board of Trustees, which is especially disappointing given that they seem genuinely concerned about the village's future and the well-being of its citizens. Unfortunately, despite their best efforts, the situation looks bleak. The mayor's reckless spending and corruption have taken root, and the damage is so extensive that it won't be easily undone, even though she still holds the mayor's seat. With more challenges ahead, many are left wondering if Dalton can survive without external intervention.
Tammy Brown says the banners were never approved by the village board.
They don't make any sense at all. They're all of the mayor. It's okay to have a banner that says welcome to Dalton, but you don't need to have the mayor's face posted throughout Sibley Boulevard.
Trustee Jason House in a statement told us it's deeply unfortunate that the administration has chosen to squander funds on self-promotion while our fire department has gone without a contract for 5 years. This blatant disregard is a slap in the face to the hardworking individuals and the creditors burdened by the millions of dollars of debt incurred by the mayor's reckless spending. Our community deserves better. NBC5 reached out to the Henyard administration for comment, but we didn't hear back.
Now that the world knows what she's doing, I'm hopeful that more people will get out of their comfort zone and come and help us with it.
After everything that's happened, the mayor seems focused on evading her legal troubles.